hell's being opened up. In Revelations, only about a third of the demons are on the earth right now, but they're being let in right now. Every second, more coming in. They're aliens, folks. It's interdimensional. They're jumping in like paratroopers right now. And CERN definitely has opened up a gate. And this is all real, folks. They do satanic rituals at CERN when they activate it. Thank God it's blown up each time. They admit to create a black hole, destroy the earth. I know this all sounds wacky, folks. This is really going on.
I know this sounds wacky, but this part of the show is real. What is below me right now? This part's real. Before I was lying to you, I was talking about fiction. This is real. Before it was an excerpt from The Hobbit, but this is real. I love that, like, you are gonna talk about a portal that is ejecting demons into our reality. And you can make any sound effect you want to describe that. And he goes with, thoop, thoop, thoop.
Yeah, some weird slurping sound.
Like a demon.
Maybe he had an icy or something like that. It was 7-Eleven the other day.
100%. Now, that's all the video that I want to show to everyone, because otherwise we'll all lose our damn minds. Yeah. But I want to give you an idea of how broad this is, and it's really going to prove River's point about how this demonic QAnon stuff, it's the QAnonization of the entire Republican Party, basically. It's not just sometimes about trans people, it's almost always about trans people. And here are some examples. Michael Knowles, who earlier said that transgenderism, that's the term he's using, be eradicated from public life entirely, which is about as genocidal a phrase as I can imagine. Claim that trans people are demonic and that demons are always trans. Laura Ingraham referred to gender-affirming care as a demonic campaign to destroy the natural biological order. Candace Owens called trans people demons in our society and smeared any actor, actress, individual that supports this as demonic. Also, surrogacy is deeply demonic too. So it's not just, I guess, about trans people. Also, the Kardashians, I suppose. Tucker Carlson used the Covenant school shooting in Tennessee to falsely claim that the trans movement is targeting Christians, including with violence, and said that the trans community is part of a deranged and demonic ideology. Jesse Waters claimed that viewers should be afraid of demonic teachers in school who've turned their classrooms into drag shows.
They sure do give us a lot of power. You know what I mean? Like, that's really the way I try to look at all of this, instead of, like, I'm not saying, don't be concerned. I'm never saying that, but they certainly give us a lot of power for something that they think is I don't know, ungodlike or whatever. It's like, you're certainly holding us up to reign supreme over this earth, which is like just like bonkers to me. And also we're just, and when I say we, I mean, I'm a trans guy, so I'm speaking from that experience. It's like we are the source of everything that's wrong in your life? Like, I don't think so. And I mean, ultimately that for me is the path that I would share with your viewers, because I feel like I share a lot of values in common with your viewers, which is like, I know this stuff is really silly and it sounds like, bonkers and all those things, but as best we can practice to see that, people who are susceptible to this are people just like us who are also scared, and looking for a way out, that like, as best you can, especially when you're not trans, if you're a cis person, the best you can treat people with, like, so that we don't have to do it, with some like understanding as best you can, like to try to find some common ground, that like perhaps this like truly comic book fiction is like maybe not real,
Yeah.
That it's like maybe not a real thing, because I find that, people on our side, we demonize them as well. So as much as we cannot demonize each other is like the only way forward through this, because they're pulling our strings like little marionettes to just hate each other,
100%. Yeah. Yeah, and look, this it fascinates me for multiple reasons. I do think that it's significant. As you pointed out, like, you can't disprove it, and like that's why they're doing it.
100%.
You don't have to prove any of this stuff.
Yeah, you don't have to prove it. You don't have to disprove it. It's impossible to, because it is a fiction and it is a belief. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like, it's very difficult. And then we also live in this country that puts this like, I don't know, just like invisible layer around, well, if somebody has a belief system, we can't get at that, and it's like, we actually have to talk to each other, and we actually have to break these things down. And I just say again, like, this stuff that they're saying is like not new, and actually not any wackier than what they've done before. Like we just weren't like actually around for it. And like, so for the Reagan era even, which was not that long ago, I mean, I could go back to whenever, the 1700s. Yeah. It's been the same, it has been the same drumbeat. So the proof is the world has not ended because of trans people, because we've been here that whole time, or queers or women or whatever, like it has not ended. So there is actually the proof that like it's actually okay, 100%. And we continue to progress, because I do believe there's more people who don't believe this than people who do, and so we do actually have strength there. And to take a second and look historically, that it truly has been happening this whole time.
100%. I'm gonna end this section by just pointing out that in addition to the fact that they can talk about this without having to prove it, because it can't be proved because it's made up, and you can't disprove it because they don't fundamentally care, every moment that they spend talking about this, and it's a lot of moments, they're not talking about anything else that you might have to prove. If you want to explain to someone why Biden's climate agenda is bad or why canceling student loan debt is bad, you might have to prove that. And you might look bad in opposing those policies, because a lot of people, including many conservatives, actually support that stuff and desperately want help. But if you can get them to think about politics exclusively through the lens of where's the latest like portal from Hades opening up, then they're not gonna be thinking about those things. So this is a very convenient grift for the right to be running.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.